Welcome everyone to the first episode, number 1 of Real Talk with my homies. I'm your host, Jake Wardrop, licensed realtor with Homepage Realty in Louisville, Kentucky. Excited to bring this new project to you guys, hopefully to not just in 2024, but beyond. Plan is to take a deep dive kind of into real estate stuff, do a little bit of current events, forecast where we think the market's going, give you some insight into buying, selling, and investing. Today's guest is my good friend Ryan Davis with Homepage Realty. Ryan has been licensed since 2004, but really did not begin selling until 2010. He comes from a family of people involved in the real estate industry. He's been involved in real estate world since about 1989. He is on several local boards, committees, and also served as your 2023 VP of GLAR. Did I get that right?
Correct. If you have any complaints, don't address them to me.
Yes, we'll give you his contact info after the podcast over, so you can address that. Please. So figured I would start this thing off with a couple icebreakers. Let's just loosen everybody up. So I've got a would you rather coming out firing hot. Would you rather flip a coin for $10 million or take a guaranteed $100,000?
Flip a coin.
Flip a coin?
$100,000 is a lot of money, but I don't think it could really change your life. It would help you get through maybe the next year or so. $10 million, life-changing money.
See, I could not flip a coin.
You take your thumb, it's really...
No, I know how to flip a coin, but if I lost...
Yeah, I could teach you.
If I lost, future me would never forgive current me.
Are you taxed on this money? Because if you're taxed, what rate are you taxed at? And the $100,000 really after taxes, only you're going to end up with 60. And really, what are you going to do? Maybe buy a car, maybe pay for a couple
just chill.
Versus
for a year.
$10 million.
60K, I could live off 6K for a year.
Sure, but you could live off $10 million for 10 years.
I look at it from the as a gambler who loses all the time. I don't think I could handle losing 10 million. Even though I never had it to begin with, I don't think I could lose it.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. So this is off to a good start.
Yeah. Agree to disagree.
It's going to be a great day.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Yes, glad to have you. So what is, in your real estate career, what is your largest deal you've ever done?
You mean?
Volume, dollar amount, quantity, take it however you want.
2.2, I think.
When was that?
3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Mine was, I believe, 520. That was about a year ago.
May 20th?
Yes.
Was the day that this happened?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, 520.
Okay.
500.
How much, what was the dollar amount?
Ironically, 520,000. Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought? What is your smallest deal?
Definitely under 100. I think it was like 79. And fun fact for all you viewers at home, the same person made both those purchases the same year.
Oh, that's awesome. Was it a house? Was the under 100? Was it a house?
Well, the small was a little condo investment purposes. The large was an apartment complex.
Okay. So my smallest, if you don't count rentals, because I've leased rentals.
Or land, no land.
Oh, well, my smallest is land. It was 32,000. My smallest unit though was it was one of my first sales. It was a house out in PRP. I think we sold for 99,000.
Yeah, I think I have some land that was less than a little less than the whatever I said 79.
I helped somebody buy some land for 32, and then 3 months later we sold it for like 37.
Oh wow! Well,
Yeah, so
okay, we're just making money
they were land
stacking paper. Yeah.
Well, long story short, they wanted to build something, then decided against building and wanted to just go ahead and buy something that was already built. They didn't want to go through the build process, so. Maybe we should have figured that part out first, but here we are. So outside of work and family, because those are obvious, you do a lot of that, what occupies your time?
Golf.
Okay.
Mostly during the summer, obviously during golf season. During the winter months, I collect baseball, basketball, football, cards.
Yeah? How long have you done that?
Off and on since I was a youngster in the mid-'80s. And like
The
everybody
junk
else,
era?
pre and during and post. But like a lot of people, sort of refound the passion during COVID because I was bored at home.
Yep, I did as
Bored in
well,
the
actually.
house, I was in the house board. Yes, like the meme. So, yes. So those are probably the two sort of hobby things within reason of any real. I mean, you do other little just random stuff. You know, obviously, I like to watch basketball, football, whatever. Whatever activities the kids are into, stuff like that. But my two, I guess, hobbies would be golf, and then when you can't golf, I mess with baseball cards.
Okay. I actually do very similar. I've got baseball cards as well. I've got really big into it during COVID. Bought a bunch of raw cards, sent them off to get graded, got them back, and then sold them as well.
What was or is your favorite baseball or sports card, baseball, football, basketball? And if it is not the same one, what would you say the most valuable that you either had and sold or still have?
I had the most valuable one I sold immediately it ended up being a PSA 9 Patrick Mahomes optic rated rookie.
And where did you get that from? Did you just get it from
I traded it. It was a trade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I sent the guy some. Honestly, I don't even remember what it was. Sent him a combination of some stuff and he ended up sending me the card. We did tracking right away to protect everybody, but sent it off to get graded. Came back and put it on eBay, and $600, $700, $800.
Sure. Okay. Interesting.
What was the other thing you asked?
Just I don't know.
Oh,
your favorite card. It could be not worth $10. This might be your favorite.
It feels like I would be what's the word? Catering with this answer, but I've got a really cool red, white, and blue Pat Tillman rookie card.
Sure. Yeah. The red, white, and blue prism.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got that. That one's really cool to me. I didn't serve in the military, but if you're going to give up an NFL career to go serve in the military and then die for our country,
he is
pretty incredible.
For no better than his career was, he is one that people hunt and collect because of that.
Yeah. When I started collecting hardcore, when I actually had real money and not just, beg mom and dad to buy me a pack of cards, I was buying a bunch of Zions and a bunch of John Morants and sending them off to get graded and then selling them because they were almost all coming back PSA 10.
Right. Yeah,
I think
the newer
I sold
stuff grades a
probably
lot better.
12.
Yeah.
I think I sold probably 12 or 14 of them in the course of a year. And I would just go to eBay and buy the. I didn't even care because I knew I was sending it off to get graded, so it really didn't matter. But I'd look for the bids that ended earliest and would go to that. So I think I've always had kind of a, how else can I make money besides what I'm normally doing?
Side hustles.
Yes, and that was
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know that I'm making any money overall. I'm basically making money to put back into what I'm already doing. So I'm just trying to basically have a net zero on a hobby.
Yes, fund the hobby.
Yeah. So if some stuff pops to be worth a lot, great. If not, that's fine too.
So easy question for you here: U of L or UK?
UK, but I don't hate U of L.
So you're one of the rare. I don't hate them, but
I don't hate U of L because I grew up in Paducah and there were no U of L family friends. It wasn't. The rival was maybe at the time because it was in the 80s, Illinois with Kendall Gill and Lou Henson as their coach, a little bit of Tennessee, some Missouri. So there was just no hate for Louisville. So until I moved to Louisville, I was never really around it. There wasn't any in Lexington, so I just don't have the I guess hatred like some people do. So I mean, I obviously want UK to win, but I'm not Louisville.
Avidly cheer against you.
Nah, I don't care.
Gotcha.
Whatever.
What is favorite sport and the favorite team in that sport?
To play golf, to watch. I like basketball a lot, but I probably watch more football. So I know that's a weird answer, but like NBA, Thunder and Suns. Pro football, I don't have a favorite team because I've never grown up around one and don't, whatever. Just like to watch good games. So you're probably watching what right now? Chiefs, Bills, Bengals.
Yeah.
Obviously, any favorite golfer would be all the guys from Kentucky, Justin Thomas, J.B. Holmes, Russ Cochran, Kenny Perry back in the day before your time, even Steve Flesh. So
okay, mine is just for those curious, baseball and the Dodgers, and I'm not a bandwagon Dodgers fan. Like I have been asked on multiple occasions. My father, as most kids, you cheer for the team that your dad likes.
Fair.
His father liked the Dodgers because of Pee Wee Reese and his connections to Louisville.
Guerrero.
He then became a Dodgers fan, and then I became a Dodgers fan, and the rest is history.
And you got Will Smith, Big Willie style.
Will Smith from Louisville. We've got Walker Buehler from Lexington.
Yeah.
I actually think we have someone else from U of L, but they're in the minors. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I don't think he's any good.
He's probably great if he's from Louisville.
Yeah, he's not.
So what is we'll start migrating slowly into real estate. What is your biggest goal for 2024? Individual.
Have not prepared for these questions.
It's all right. Fire from the hip.
So,
It is December 8th, though.
yeah, I don't.
For those of
I
you
think you always-
keeping tabs at home, this is being aired in January, but we recorded it on December 8th.
I guess biggest goal would be just to be better about loving on the people that got me to this point. Your sphere, your clients, doing better about appreciating them and just doing the little things for them and reaching out. I have fits and starts where I'm good at that, but I think it's important and also it's necessary. And also I do appreciate them, so you need to let the people know. So from the non-financial category, being better about connecting with past clients.
Yeah, I would say that's very close to what mine is as well, is creating some sort of processes, create some processes that allow me to, just friendly reminders to myself that, hey, I need to reach out to these people. I need to talk to them and continue to show them the love and appreciation that, they trusted me to help them buy a house, largest purchase they'll ever make probably in their life. And here I am, for some of them, they've never even met me before, but they're going to trust me with this process. And, obviously very grateful, obviously very appreciative, but just being able to tell them that on a more routine basis is probably something that it's something I want to focus on in 24.
And it'll pay financial dividends, as a byproduct of doing the right. Basically, you're doing the right thing, and doing the right thing keeps you employed and keeps referrals coming your way and keeps people happy, and it just all feeds on itself, and it's a big happy circle.
It's unspoken a lot of times, but it needs to be spoken, I think, to some people.
Well, I spoke it.
Well, to them specifically is what I meant, not on a podcast. All right, so as we sit here, first week of January, who is our national champion in college football?
Not Michigan.
Okay. Did they lose to Alabama?
I don't care if they won and then got taken away from them, just not Michigan. Okay. So that leaves what? Alabama, Texas, and Washington. Hate to pick against Alabama just because it's Alabama. I'm going to go real out of left field, and I think Washington's so battle-tested, I'm going to go Washington.
I have a financial interest in this, so I too would like to be the first to congratulate Washington Huskies as your 2023-2024 national champions.
Congratulations, Michael.
You heard it here first. Yes. Michael Penix.
Good job. You were great.
Rome Okude, I believe is the wide receiver's name. The head coach has slipped.
Yes.
The head coach, I'm sure he's a great guy. His name has slipped my mind at the moment.
But sure, he's a good coach.
Yes. Probably a great family man as well.
Yeah, just a good person, I feel like. I've never met him, but I bet he is.
Yep. All right, so general predictions for 2024 in the real estate market in Louisville, Kentucky, and the surrounding areas.
It's a broad topic. Do you want to narrow it down, or?
Oh, I'm going in.
Oh,
we're diving in. Yeah,
okay, sorry.
that was a transition.
Okay,
yep.
My bad.
We're transitioning.
I'm with you. Yes.
Yep. In the Louisville area, I'm not licensed in Indiana. I know lots of great agents in Indiana, but I'm not licensed over there, so I can refer them out.
Me neither.
I have had only one person in my life actually ask me if I could sell them a house in Indiana. I referred them over to a great agent. They took great care of them, and the rest is history. I've had more people ask me about Florida than ask me about Indiana.
Well, no one really wants to live in Indiana.
No. It's there's a toll bridge.
Yeah, you got to pay to go back and forth, $8 a day. And nobody's doing all. I'm not doing that.
As we sit here today, obviously this will be different when this airs, but as we sit here today, 2,307 listings on the MLS.
In January.
Well, yes, sort of. Facts are optional though. 2,307 today, December 8th. Where are we on today, the day that we air, first week of January? How many active listings do we have?
It'll be less than that because it's January.
Okay.
just because that's the nature of things. No matter.
We'll put a number to it.
You said what, 2,300?
2,300 today.
1975.
All right.
Maybe a shade under 2,000 because you're still coming out of Christmas. New Year's starting. People are planning, decluttering, getting ready to Christmas. Kids are still not back from school. They come up for air mid to late January. February they make a plan. They're ready to go on market by March 1st.
Yeah.
So January, I don't care if it's 2021 and things are going crazy. January would still be less listings than December.
Yeah.
Even if you're going from 10,000 to 9,000.
Where do you see? I've not done this long enough to know what the trends are for January. Just to be completely candid with you, so I will take what you say and take it to heart. As far as rates, where do you envision rates being? I know. So again, today, December 8th, as we record. Well, it's January when we air, but today is being previously recorded, December 8th. I got a text message from a client who said that they had talked to their lender, and there is a belief that we may actually see a rate that starts with a 6 today.
Sure.
Where do you see rates first week of January? We've been trending down ever so slightly over the last, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks.
It's dropped every day this week a little bit.
Where do you envision it being in January? Do we still see the drop, or do we kind of level off?
I think it depends on when you say rate, where the rate is coming from, who the rate is for, where are they getting their rate. Are they looking at a national chart?
Yeah, national average.
National average, high 6s. What can you really get? Low 6s.
Yeah.
If you doing a portfolio loan, local loan officer, good credit score, decent amount down, what you're seeing projected takes into account so many random factors. It's always higher than what you're actually going to get.
Yeah. And I know too, I do a lot of work with new construction, so I get the email updates from the builder preferred lenders all the time. I know what they're doing. I know what they're trying to do, and you kind of, peel the onion back, you can kind of tell what direction they're trying to head in with their incentives, what they're trying to drive people towards. And I think I saw the first one the other day. It was a preferred, it was the preferred lender, but they had FHA down to 5.25. Now that was with, I believe it was 2% closing costs on the purchase price, and they were putting that towards buying down the rate. However, it was a permanent buy down. It was not a permanent, it wasn't a 2-1, anything like that. Even a 3-2-1. It was a permanent buy down fixed over 30 years. Now the builder was probably also ponying up some dough as well, because you look at a $350,000 house, 2%, $7,000. That's not enough to buy a permanent rate buy down to 5.25, in my opinion. I'm not a lender. Don't take this as lending advice, but I think that the builder's probably got to pony up some as well to get that fixed. But 5.25 at FHA, that's almost unheard of right now. So I too believe I believe that we'll be somewhere averages in the mid 6s. It feels like everything is going in that direction, and as all the talking heads are saying, if the rates get to the 5s, then the whole industry goes bananas again.
So the sweet spot's probably really the mid 6s. It goes to 5s. How much money are you saving? Because now the $300,000 house is going to cost you $330,000.
Yep.
So how much are you really saying?
Your no contingencies are back into play. Yeah, your escalation clauses are back into play. Now you're not doing inspections anymore potentially, or if you are doing inspections, you're guaranteeing that you're not going to ask for any repairs. The craziness comes back, and unfortunately, that's a conversation probably for an entire podcast as it is.
Refinance will go through the roof.
Yep. So, but here's an interesting question. So I have a friend of mine, best man at my wedding.
Is this a real question?
This is a real question. No, this is a real question. Okay. He has posed this question to me on multiple occasions. Okay. He's in the finance world. He's not in the real estate world. But he has told me on multiple occasions he thinks that there will be, or there needs to be, some sort of disruption in the real estate market, kind of like a Carvana. Where do you believe at some point, within the next 5 to 10 years, we don't want to forecast anything farther than that, do you believe that there's some sort of situation where realtors become obsolete, whether it's through AI, whether it's through online shopping only? What are your thoughts on that?
So that's been attempted already. Zillow, I think it was 2019. Tried to go in-house, I mean, Zillow, homes or whatever. 2021 or 22, they've already shut that down.
Yep.
It lost a lot of money. I read an article about it yesterday, actually. Their stock, they lost, it was like 7% on those deals. And then the stock that same day, a couple years ago, dropped 10%.
Yeah.
There's also a thing called iBuying. And Keller Williams has an iBuying division, and other places have iBuying products where basically you can pop in your address, an algorithm gives you an offer on your home. They'll close same day, next day. Long story short, the only thing it offers the seller is it happens quickly. They're going to usually give you an offer about 6% less. There's also going to be fees on top of that for convenience of 5 to 8%. So you do the math, you're still better off using a traditional real estate brokerage and an agent, whatever your commission ends up being, however you negotiate that. And it's not a few $1,000s, it's tens of thousands of dollars. They also won't buy a house that needs any real repairs. They don't negotiate on repairs. If they ask for repairs, you have to pay them. So the iBuying model's been around for a while. I see no traction that I'm aware of. A big market like, I don't know, Phoenix or Atlanta may experience it, but here, I don't think we'll ever lose our importance because, and take Zillow, when people say, well, Zillow says my house is worth $300,000. Okay, well, who did Zillow send out to do a market analysis, or who called you, or who's been in your house to give you that evaluation? Oh, well, nobody. It's just what the internet says.
Well, and Zillow itself has the data where they believe in the state of Kentucky, they believe 54% of the time they can get you within 20% of your house of the actual value.
Spoiler alert: they cannot.
Well, I mean,
summer
broken
hots,
clock is right twice a day.
Here's a perfect example. We've lived in our house for 15 years. We've redone every single thing on it. Zillow still says it's worth what we paid for it 15 years ago because there's not been a need to pull a permit. There's been no issues with financing. There's been no changes in deed recording or anything at the courthouse to trigger their algorithm to pull a new dollar amount.
Yeah.
So they still think it's worth what we paid 15 years ago, and I'm here to tell you it's not.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is.
So yeah, so I tell people Zillow is a marketing site. Zillow's, to me, their main goal is to get agents to pay for zip codes and for advertising, and that's how they generate the bulk of their revenue from us.
And I did that at one point. Did you ever go down the Zillow road?
We did a test case at a previous brokerage where we split the fees evenly. I tracked everything, and not including, obviously our time is worth money, just looking at numbers. I either did it for 6 or 9 months. We were a little less than breaking even. So if I'd have paid all that myself, I would have lost whatever the half was.
Yeah.
So, and you chase and chase, there's no relationships, there's no loyalty among thieves. I showed someone 4 or 5 houses, never heard from again. Some people may have success with it. I don't think that's the way to build a long-term business.
Yeah, I know agents that have been super successful through Zillow. I bought a couple zip codes maybe 2 years ago, did the 6-month commitment that they ask. I was paying probably $500, $600 a month. Never would show a house every now and again. Would get phone calls every now and again.
We can talk about this.
Never closed a deal through that.
I closed a couple, but it is a lot of times people, whoever answered the phone first, that's who they wanted to show them that house immediately. And if they didn't like that house, there was no, and you could say, oh, could I send you other things, show you other things? They didn't want that. They were just like, we'll click on the next house, and whoever gets us gets us. There was no loyalty.
Oh yeah.
There was no rapport. There was no relationship built.
Yeah. They're not looking for somebody to create a relationship
Zillow's all
with.
churn and burn. You're not going to. Again, somebody probably can. I have no desire to do that. Good luck to them, and I hope they do well.
Yeah. Before we move off of predictions for 2024, do you have anything outlandish or bold that you believe will happen in 2024? And it's okay if the answer is no.
But real estate wise?
Yes, real estate.
I don't think it's outlandish or bold. I think we'll locally, statewide, nationally, with all the stuff going on, you'll lose some membership. I think some people's E&O might go up, fees might go up, and that'll push some people out that are new to it or that are almost on their way out.
Yeah.
Supposedly there'll be a 10% reduction, which is, everyone's guess. Is that true or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
So if you look at us, GLAR, we have 5,100 members. You knock off 10%, you're knocking off 510 members. You take that revenue for your dues, that's a substantial hit.
Yep.
So obviously you've got to come up with that somewhere else. How do you come up with that? So advertising on Flex, or
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, or you're going to plus up dues a little bit. But you've got to make up that revenue to balance your budget. So it's not outlandish, but I think you'll lose people that are just getting started or that were a couple years from being out anyway.
How many would you say, and I have no idea what number this could possibly be, how many people would you say have a GLAR membership but just don't even do anything, whether it's by choice or whether it's by...
Of the 5,100 that paid last year, I would say you always go to the old school 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
It's probably 80% of the agents, or 20% of the agents make 80% of the money that GLAR makes. But I would say you've got people that have their license in escrow. You have people that only work when the phone rings.
Now, does that 5,100 include those in escrow?
Mm-hmm. Anybody that paid their dues.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm just gonna guess that people that are actively out there working full time like us, daily, beating the bushes, doing the things, 50, 60% maybe. I'd say you've got. And we have people in our office, and that's fine. It's a supplemental thing. Someone calls, they'll work. If not, they're fine.
Yeah, I've got a buddy that just joined our brokerage, and he does 4 or 5 a year, and he's got a full-time job, and that's all he wants.
And there's people and maybe I'm high, maybe it's 50% or less, but you see the same names in the same neighborhoods from the same brokerages, and then every now and then you see one pop up that's kind of like, oh, that's a new person, that's different, and they could have had their license for 20 years. It's just they might sell 1 or 2 houses a year. Yeah.
So put yourself. Here's the situation. Put yourself in the shoes of a seller listing agent. Okay. What advice? We've all had these conversations, but never under this sort of circumstances.
This hot light.
Yes. What sort of advice would you give to them to help that house show the best it possibly can to help them try and find a buyer as soon as possible? I've got a couple that I listed, but I'll let you go first in case you're going to steal one of mine.
You just general advice, or do I know anything specific about the house?
This is you're talking to Joe homeowner.
First impressions, people are going to drive by after they see it online. So landscaping needs to be tight. Turn the mulch, or put new mulch down. Trim the trees. Do the gutters. The old, I think it was a right guard commercial. You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yep.
So you want to do don't skimp on the outside. Inside, I don't care who you are, you've got more stuff than you need.
Yep.
I don't care if you're moving to a bigger house. Declutter. You don't want to move things and then throw them away. Declutter now. Give it away to a charity. Sell it online. Throw it away. And we can call. I'll give you a dumpster company to call. I'll give you a charity to come get it. Show your space, not your stuff. Thin your closet out.
Yeah, I've always told people to declutter.
Yes, declutter is the number one thing that we can all do.
And then when you're done,
declutter
again.
Yes.
Do it a second time. Go back through and then knock some more stuff out.
You've got kids or a dog, you got to get out for showings. Keep like a clothes basket by the back door to throw in, the random shoes that are always by the door, or, whatever. Just throw things in there.
Yep.
I've had people in small houses take half your closet, because the closets are small in the Highlands. Go throw it in the back of your car for now, for the photos, for the open house. Just again, get all the pictures off the table. Like this table back here, that's as busy as you want to be. No one wants to see pictures. They want to see pictures of your family. You got 50 bottles of bourbon. Let's get that down to just a few. Put up the expensive ones. Let's let them see the space, not your stuff.
I've always felt, and I'll just add a couple more things that are on my list, is smells. For whatever reason, I've had a lot of clients.
You have a lot of smelly houses?
No, but I've shown a lot of houses that just have kind of like the dog
Candles
smell.
Aren't good. Candles
or
make you think
much.
You're covering something up.
Yeah, or too much
you
of
want
a smell.
No smell.
Yeah.
Like you want to smell
There's nothing subtle there.
Yeah. You don't want. I don't want to smell your candle, because then I think you're covering up something.
Yeah, I don't. Cats have an odor. Dogs have an odor. No matter how much you think they don't, they do. I tell people as well. Be mindful of the showing times. Be mindful that people are coming at 4 o'clock. So maybe at 3:30, you kind of do a little, clean up a little bit.
Clean like you've never cleaned before.
Yes, clean like you're trying.
Or pay someone to do it.
Clean like maybe you're going to get a check for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in a month and a half if they like your house. So clean like you mean it. And then the biggest thing that I always tell people is we try to qualify our buyers the best we can. Sometimes though, like speaking of Zillow, you're going to get the Zillow call. You're going to get somebody that wants to come look at a house. They may even have a pre-approval in hand, ready to go. And it's from a local lender, but they may have bad intentions. And those bad intentions may be that I want to get into this house and see if there's anything that's worth, throwing in my pocket. Don't put someone in a situation where they're going to do something bad. Make sure your guns are locked away. Make sure your medicine is stashed away. Jewelry. If you're going to lose sleep at night because if it gets stolen. Baseball cards. Your PSA 10 cards.
Yeah.
Put them
Eights
away.
and nines you can leave out. Tens,
Yeah.
Put up the tens. The eights and nines.
But there are unfortunately bad people in this world. And if you show a house and there's 6 people there, sometimes it's a little tough to keep them all in one room with you. Somebody's going to go walk off and check out the master go check the primary out again just to see, space-wise. And next thing you know, they come back, oh, okay, cool, it's fine. You don't know what happened. You want to be with everybody at every time, but we're also human. And there are people that want to, unfortunately have bad intentions. So I would definitely add that to the list of making sure that valuables are put away, things that have any sort of, even if it's not valuable monetarily, but maybe sentimentally. Put it somewhere that does not create an entrapment situation where someone wants to try and do harm to you. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that.
That was pretty thorough. Have you had people had stuff stolen before?
No, because I talked to them about that.
Yeah, I never have. That was very thorough.
I think that was, it was brought to me at an old brokerage. It was, guns and medicine.
Guns, medicine, and jewelry. Yes.
Make sure that it's stashed away. Just don't put someone in a situation.
Well, and in Kentucky, seriously, about the bourbon, yeah, I mean, you just, there's no way to track it if somebody takes it.
There's a barcode if it was bought, but we're not tracking those.
Yeah, so
the barcode's specific to the store.
And you're going to move it anyway, so go ahead and pack it up.
Yeah. First-time home buyers. I get some every now and again. I do most of my stuff is listings. Over the last couple of years, it's been listings. I do have some first-time home buyers that come across me. What is your advice for a first-time home buyer? What do you believe is the first thing that a first-time home buyer should do?
Don't watch HGTV.
Yeah. After calling me or you, what should they do?
Still don't watch HGTV.
Yeah.
Get pre-qualified first. Mm-hmm. If they have done that, great. If not, so. I like to meet with them first. Let's get some expectations in line.
Yep.
I want to know, are mom and dad coming?
Yeah.
If it's a young new couple, are both your sets of parents coming?
Yeah.
Or is there the one parent that fixed a car one time, so probably can do a home inspection himself?
Yep. Where do you do the meeting at? Are you doing it at a showing? Are you doing it in the driveway of a showing? Are you going to a coffee house?
It depends on how I met them. Like there was one couple that was a referral from a buddy. They were relocating back to town. We met at a restaurant that I knew. We could sit in a corner, wouldn't be crowded. Have some appetizers, sit for an hour, and just get to know each other and just talk.
Yep.
No, I think it's too long of an important of a meeting to do at a showing or in the driveway. I think it's once you need to. And also you want to meet with them to see are they seriously looking? Are they not sure? Do they really want to do this?
Yeah. Are you really talking to a buyer, or are you just talking to someone who likes the idea?
Is there any undisclosed debt? Like if they're like, I forgot. Yeah, we've got school debt, so therefore that changes our buying power. I think I don't have a set list of questions. Things will come out when you talk, and there'll be a vibe and a rapport. But I think you definitely want to know who's the decision maker. Is it you two, or is it you two plus? Is somebody giving gift funds? If somebody's giving gift funds, then those gift funds you don't have to pay back, but they come with a cost. They come with an opinion. Yes, it's an expensive opinion. And they're going to make sure that me as the realtor that doesn't know anything understands how much they know. Mm-hmm. So I just want to know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, then engage those people, lean into them, keep them on the text, call them, hey, can you be there? I know you want to be there. Like bring them in because they're coming anyway.
Yeah. What, as far as fees for a first-time home buyer, I would say depending on the price point, of course, I've always informed people, make sure we're, even if you're doing down payment assistance, even if you're doing FHA down payment assistance, you're trying to bring as little to the table as humanly possible. You're going to need closing costs from the seller. I've always used the rule of thumb, have at least $1,000 ready to go. That gives us $500 for an EMD if we need it. which we will, of course, and then also another $500 for the inspection. What are your thoughts on something like that? Do you have
Like how much cash they should have for closing costs and prepaids?
Yeah, we've already gone through the pre-approval process. We've got a good idea as far they've already come to the table with that pre-approval.
One of our favorite local title companies, you can go to their website, put in a property address, put in a price, answer a couple questions, and it will tell you to the penny what your closing costs are as a buyer or seller.
You want to tell us what that website is?
It is limestonetitleandescrow.com for all you out there in the podcast world.
We don't give out free ads, but we will to them.
They'll pay us in some fashion. We'll get ours. Might just be a sandwich, but we'll get our flesh.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that's a good tool to show them, like to the penny, what that's going to cost. We roughly know what an inspection can cost. If not, we all have an inspector we would call and say, roughly this size. I don't know, $400, $600, $500. I would think instead of $500 for an escrow, you probably need 1%, especially if it's a competitive market at least. I think that's where the conversation comes. Are we having gift funds? What are we doing? Maybe they have money somewhere else they can pull from. Do they need to sell, they have stock or some type of
liquidate something?
We were joking about baseball cards or bourbon or whatever. I mean, some of that stuff's a couple $1,000s quick there. So I think part of your conversation, not just getting the loan, but also how much cash do we need to have on the sidelines ready. And I think you just do those numbers whenever you figure out their budget. You can do it quickly. I mean, you can rough guess 1% of purchase price, maybe. And on the prepaids and escrows, if it's a competitive market and the house is $300 and you want $4,000, give them $304. Yeah. And ask for $4,000 closing costs, so they're still getting the number that they want, so you can get the house. And yeah, you're financing those closing costs if you can't come out of pocket, but it's not such a big. I mean, that's the way of the world right now.
Cost to buy a house.
Yeah, it's better than paying 100% interest rate renting.
Yeah. What I'll give you 3 things that I always keep in the back of my mind. Things that first-time home buyers should consider about the home specifically, not just about the process, but about the actual tangible home that they're about to buy. Number 1, I always advise them that I would avoid the floodplain unless you're just head over heels.
Oh, that any price point, any person, no thank you.
Yeah, unless you found it on Zillow, you sent it to me, and you envision your grandkids in the front yard. And
I would want you to sign something saying that I told you it was in a floodplain, and suggested you do not buy it, but wrote the contract because it is my job to do what you want. I would want some type of documentation that I said run for the hills.
Yes, 3+ bed. Especially for a first-time home buyer. If it's like my parents have a 2-bed home, that's all they need.
Sure.
They've got a bedroom in case my daughter or my son stays the night or their other granddaughter stays the night, but they don't need 3 beds. But for resale value, I think the 3-bed is important because you start to eliminate families larger than 1 child.
And you can stay there longer depending on your family status and what your family does or doesn't grow, or you won't have to move in 3 to 5 years, most likely, if you do not want to.
Yeah, and then last but certainly not least is buy a slab and not a crawl. If you can avoid a crawl space, there's a lot of stuff that can happen down there, and there's a lot of stuff that can happen down there while you're not down there.
Well,
go in the crawl.
Airflow is minimal, air is stagnant.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I know, it's a whole nother shoebox to open, but.
Yeah. You got anything else to add to that list? I mean, it's a short list, but it's not everything. But
stuff comes up as you do each house. You know what I mean? Like everything's different. I mean, depending on the neighborhood, you're talking about slabs and crawls. You might be looking at an area neighborhood that there's neither. It's all basements. So different set of questions. Is there any cracks? Do you have any warranties? What is the slope of the yard? Is it sloping away? Is it sloping towards? Just the same stuff you'd help with anyone buying a house where they've bought 1 house or 10 houses. It's just, I think you give a little more care to the first-time home buyers because there's a little bit of nervousness there, and it's all new and fresh. But they're also excited, and they usually get a little more into it than somebody that's done it plenty of times. It's more than a transaction to them. It's like the beginning of being an adult.
Yeah. So final question, we will end it after this, is probably the easiest question we've asked besides the would you rather. Is what is your personal belief is the biggest benefit to an individual using a realtor versus trying to take on this endeavor by themselves?
I mean, I would not try to do my own surgery. I would not try to fix my own car. I wouldn't do my own taxes. I mean, I think you hire a professional because they're a professional. I mean, there's different, realtors in our industry. Some are better than others. Some are in different markets. But interview 2 or 3, get recommendations from your friend, call your favorite real estate podcasters.
Yep.
Ask the questions that are important to you. Not only do you want a knowledgeable realtor, you want someone that you have a rapport with, a vibe with. I could bore you with stats and figures and numbers and examples of my own life where a realtor saves you money if you're buying, makes you more money if you're selling. It's fact. It's not. We're not making that up. There's data to support that. We're selling a service, helping you buy a product. We're not selling an actual product. We're not selling a car.
I think too, it adds it. We're in a position that we can hold people's feet to the fire. If it's Joe homeowner selling to Steve homeowner, people can get kind of wishy-washy. They start to kind of, deadlines are not met. And next thing
they don't have to follow the same stringent rules of laws that we do. They're not bound by the same rules and regulations that are meant to protect the consumer.
And at the end of the day, the goal is party A sells to party B the property at 123 Main Street for X amount of dollars, and can they get there in a timely manner, and we all go home happy. And if you've got consumer selling to consumer, everything gets, delays start to happen where we're waiting on an email on Monday, and next thing you know, it's Thursday, and we still haven't even heard from them just because
they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Laws and rules change statewide and nationally sometimes every year. We obviously keep up with those things. We trade on those things. We talk about those things. So it's like anything you would need a professional for. It is no different. I think just sometimes people think because they watch a TV show or know somebody that has bought a couple houses, they just think it's one of those things that they can handle. And I mean, unfortunately, people find out the hard way. It's just not.
Yeah. So, any final words?
I've enjoyed being on your podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here.
This has been this has been a great thrill of mine.
Do you have any social media handles you want to shout out? Anything you want
to? Not really.
Okay.
You
got enough followers? You're good?
No, I'm.
You got TikTok?
I'm not as young as you and as like a spry. I am on Instagram. I don't even know what my handle is.
Trying to still learn how Instagram works?
Find it. Yeah, I mean, I tried to do a reel this morning.
Do you think your Facebook feed is still people that are just trying to tell you specific things and not the world?
It's a lot of people arguing about politics and religion and, trying to convince each other of things. And, Facebook's not where you change opinions. So, no.
I've always said the world's problems were always solved in the comments section.
Facebook to me is kids, houses, and dogs. You're not going to get a commentary. You're not going to get my opinion on things. You're just going to get some pretty photos.
Yep.
And pictures of me. So that's why you should go there.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, I appreciate your time.
Well, Jake, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.